A baby's cry cut through the rides by the Nile River, soft, desperate. The sound that should bring comfort instead brings terror. Nearby, soldiers march with heavy boots. Their orders are clear: drown every Hebrew baby boy. Pharaoh has spoken. The decree cannot be undone. A mother crouches in the rushes, her body shaking. Tears stream down her face as she weaves a basket from papyrus reeds. Her hands move quickly, sealing every crack with tar and pitch. This basket must float. It must protect. She kisses her son's forehead one final time. Her heart is breaking. But staying means death. Running means death. This basket, this river, this impossible choice, it's all she has left. She places him inside, whispering prayers she barely believes. Then she pushes the basket into the current. The Nile carries it away. The same river that has swallowed countless babies now holds her son. She watches from the reeds, frozen, unable to breathe, unable to move. The basket drifts toward the palace walls. And at that exact moment, footsteps approach the water's edge. Pharaoh's daughter, the princess of Egypt, walks down to bathe. The princess pauses. She hears it, a cry from the reeds. Her servants look at each other nervously. Everyone knows the decree. Hebrew babies are not meant to survive. But something stays in her heart. Curiosity? Compassion? She cannot say. Bring it to me, she commands. A servant wades into the water and retrieves the basket. When the lid is lifted, the baby wails, tiny fists punching the air, fighting for life. The princess gasps. Her breath catches. This is no ordinary child. There is strength in his cry, defiance in his eyes. He is Hebrew, a servant whispers fearfully. The princess looks at the child, then at the palace, then back again. She knows what she should do. She knows the law. But she lifts him anyway. He shall be called Moses, she says softly, because I drew him out of the water. In that moment, a slave child becomes a prince. But hidden in the reeds, someone is watching, a young girl, the baby's sister. She sees everything. And suddenly, she runs forward with a brilliant idea. Shall I find a Hebrew woman to nurse the child for you? The girl asks breathlessly. The princess studies her, then nods. Go. The girl sprints home. Within the hour, she returns with the baby's own mother. The princess hands Moses to her. Nurse this child for me, and I will pay you. The mother's hands tremble as she takes her son back. Tears blur her vision. God has given him back. Not stolen. Not drowned. Returned. For years, she nurses him, whispering truths into his ear. You are Hebrew. You are chosen. Never forget. But time is cruel. The day comes when she must give him up again, this time to the palace, forever. Moses grows up among golden columns and marble floors. Servants bow. Tutors teach him Egyptian wisdom. He wears fine linen and eats royal food. Yet something inside him stays. When he sees Hebrew slaves carrying bricks, their backs bent under the sun, his chest tightens. Who am I? He wonders. Egyptian or Hebrew? The question will not leave him alone. One day, Moses walks through the construction site. The heat is unbearable. Dust chokes the air. He sees an Egyptian guard beating a Hebrew slave with a whip. Blood splatters the sand. The slave's cries pierce the noise. Moses freezes. His heart pounds. Something hot and dangerous rises inside him. He looks left. Looks right. No one is watching. In a single, violent moment, Moses strikes the Egyptian. The guard falls. Silence. Moses stares at his hands. They are shaking. The body lies still. Panic floods him. What have I done? He drags the Egyptian into the sand and buries him quickly, frantically. His royal robes are filthy. His heart hammers in his chest. That night, he cannot sleep. Every shadow looks like an accuser. Every sound feels like judgment. The next morning, he returns to the site. Two Hebrews are fighting. Moses steps between them. Why do you strike your brother? He asks. The man sneers. Who made you our judge? Will you kill me too, as you killed the Egyptian? Moses' blood runs cold. They know. Everyone will know. Word spreads like wildfire. By evening, Pharaoh knows everything. Find Moses, the king roars. Bring him to me, dead or alive. Moses runs. He abandons the palace, the luxury, the only life he has ever known. He flees into the desert with nothing, no food, no water, no plan. The sun scorches his skin. Sand fills his mouth. Every step feels like punishment. He is no longer a prince. He is a fugitive, a murderer, a failure. For days, he stumbles through the wilderness. Thirst claws at his throat. Exhaustion pulls at his legs. At night, guilt whispers in his ears. You were supposed to save them. Instead, you destroyed yourself. Finally, he collapses near a well in the land of Midian. He can go no further. As he lies there, gasping, voices rise nearby. A group of rough shepherds is harassing a group of women, pushing them away from the well. Moses lifts his head. His body aches. His spirit is broken. But something inside refuses to stay silent. Moses stands. His legs shake, but he moves forward anyway. Leave them alone, he says, his voice rough but firm. The shepherds laugh. Who are you to tell us what to do? Moses doesn't answer. He just steps between them and the women. His eyes are hard, daring them to strike. The shepherds hesitate. Something about this stranger unnerves them. They mutter curses and leave. The women stare at Moses in shock. Thank you, one of them whispers. She leads him to her father, Jethro, a priest of Midian. Jethro welcomes Moses into his home, offering food and shelter. For the first time in weeks, Moses feels safe. He eats. He rests. He begins to heal. I am the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses covers his face. Terror floods him. He cannot look. He cannot breathe. I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries, and I have come down to deliver them. Silence. Then the words that change everything. Go to Pharaoh. Bring my people out of Egypt. Moses shakes his head violently. No, no, Lord, not me. His voice cracks. Who am I to go to Pharaoh? Who am I to lead Israel out of Egypt? Fear chokes him. Doubt suffocates him. I will be with you, God replies. And this will be your sign. When you bring the people out, you will worship me on this mountain. Moses stammers, but what if they don't believe me? What if they ask your name? Tell them, I am who I am. The God of Abraham has sent you. Still Moses resists. Lord, I am not a good speaker. I stutter. I stumble. My words fail me. God's voice is patient but firm. Who made your mouth? Who makes one mute or deaf, seeing or blind? Is it not I? Now go. I will help you speak. Moses closes his eyes. Please, Lord, send someone else. For a moment, there is only silence. Then God speaks again. Your brother Aaron is already coming. He will be your voice. Moses looks up. On the horizon, a figure approaches through the desert heat. Aaron. Moses and Aaron embrace. Years have passed, but the bond remains. Aaron listens as Moses explains everything. The burning bush, the voice, the command. Aaron does not hesitate. Then we go. Together, they journey back toward Egypt. Every step feels heavy. Moses has not seen this land in 40 years. The pyramids rise in the distance. The Nile glitters under the sun. The air smells of dust and slavery. Moses' stomach twists. Memories flood back, murder, exile, shame. But Aaron walks beside him. And God's promise echoes in his mind, I will be with you. As they approach the city, slaves line the roads, carrying bricks and stones. Their backs are bent. Their eyes are empty. Moses' heart breaks. Aaron whispers, Are you ready? Moses nods, though fear claws at his chest. Pharaoh's palace looms ahead. The same golden walls that once called him prince now stand as a fortress of oppression. The gates open. Guards watch them suspiciously. Moses steps inside. The air is thick with power and danger. Moses and Aaron stand before Pharaoh. The throne room glitters with gold. Statues of false gods line the walls. Pharaoh sits high above them, dressed in royal splendor. His eyes are cold, calculating. Aaron speaks, his voice strong. Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go. Pharaoh's lips curl into a smirk. Who is the Lord, that I should obey him? I do not know this Lord, and I will not let Israel go. Moses' heart sinks. Pharaoh waves his hand dismissively. These slaves are lazy. They want rest. Give them more work. That very day, Pharaoh doubles the Hebrews' labor. No more straw is provided for bricks. They must find it themselves. But the same number of bricks is required. The people cry out in anguish. Overseers beat them. Their suffering multiplies. The Hebrew foremen confront Moses and Aaron. Look what you've done. You've made us a stench to Pharaoh. You've put a sword in his hand to kill us. Moses stands there, speechless. His mission has only made things worse. That night, he falls to the ground, weeping. Lord, why did you send me? Since I came, you have brought trouble upon this people. God answers Moses. Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. The next day, Moses and Aaron return to the throne room. Show me a miracle, Pharaoh demands mockingly. Aaron throws down his staff. Instantly, it becomes a serpent, alive, hissing, coiling on the marble floor. Pharaoh's eyes narrow. He claps his hands. Bring my magicians. The sorcerers enter, chanting incantations. They throw down their staffs, and they too become serpents. Pharaoh laughs. You see? My gods are just as powerful. But then, Aaron's serpent turns. It strikes. One by one, it devours the other serpents whole. The room falls silent. Pharaoh's smile fades. His jaw clenches. Get out. Moses and Aaron leave, but Pharaoh's voice echoes behind them, low and venomous. You will die before they go free. That night, God speaks to Moses again. Go to the Nile at dawn. Pharaoh will be there. Tell him, because you refused, I will strike the water, and it will turn to blood. Moses and Aaron meet Pharaoh at the river's edge. The morning is quiet. Birds circle overhead. Aaron lifts his staff and strikes the Nile. The water shudders. Then, red. Dark, thick red. Blood. The fish gasp and die. The river stinks. Egyptians retch and flee. Water jugs overflow with blood. Pharaoh watches, his face expressionless. But his magicians step forward. We can do the same, they boast. They mimic the miracle with their tricks. Pharaoh turns away. This proves nothing. Moses stares at the blood-soaked river. The same water that once carried him to safety now reeks of death. For 7 days, Egypt has no clean water. People dig frantically along the banks, searching for relief. Still, Pharaoh's heart remains stone. Moses prays, Lord, how long? God's answer is firm. He will learn. Plague by plague, he will learn. The sky rumbles. Something darker is coming. And Pharaoh has no idea how far God will go. The second plague strikes. Frogs swarm from the Nile, millions of them. They fill the streets. They invade homes. They crawl into beds, ovens, and kneading bowls. Everywhere, frogs. Pharaoh summons Moses. Pray to your God. Remove these frogs, and I will let the people go. Moses prays. The frogs die. Their bodies pile in heaps, rotting in the sun. The stench is unbearable. But when the plague ends, Pharaoh changes his mind. I will not let them go. Next come gnats. Then flies. Swarms so thick the sky turns black. Egyptian homes are choked with buzzing, biting insects. But in Goshen, where the Hebrews live, there are none. Not one fly. Pharaoh sees the difference. His priests whisper nervously, this is the finger of God. Still, he refuses. Livestock die next. Horses, donkeys, camels. Egyptian fields are littered with carcasses. But Hebrew livestock remain untouched. Pharaoh's heart hardens further. Then boils. Painful sores erupt on every Egyptian, even Pharaoh's magicians. They cannot stand before Moses. Still, no. Moses looks to heaven. How long, Lord? Thunder answers. Hail falls like stones from the sky. Fire flashes within the storm. Crops are destroyed. Trees are shattered. Egypt is devastated. Pharaoh calls for Moses. I have sinned. Your God is righteous. Make it stop, and I will let you go. Moses prays. The storm ceases. But again, Pharaoh lies. Locusts come next, devouring every green thing left. Then darkness, so thick it can be felt. For 3 days, no one moves. No one lights a lamp. Egypt is paralyzed by an unnatural, suffocating blackness. But in Goshen, light. Pharaoh summons Moses one final time. His voice shakes with rage. Get out of my sight. If I see your face again, you will die. Moses meets his gaze. You have spoken well. I will never see your face again. He turns and walks away. But God whispers to him, one more plague. After this, Pharaoh will let you go. Moses stops. His heart pounds. What will it be, Lord? The firstborn, God answers. Every firstborn in Egypt will die. Moses trembles. This will break Egypt forever. Moses gathers the people. His voice is urgent. Listen carefully. At midnight, the Lord will pass through Egypt. Every firstborn will die, from Pharaoh's son to the prisoner's son, even the firstborn of livestock. The Hebrews stare in stunned silence. But Moses continues, you will be spared. Each family must take a lamb, unblemished, perfect. Kill it at twilight. Take its blood and mark your doorposts. When the Lord sees the blood, he will pass over you. That evening, every Hebrew home obeys. Fathers carefully paint blood on the door frames. Children watch in fearful silence. Inside, families eat the lamb with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They are dressed and ready to leave at a moment's notice. As midnight approaches, an eerie stillness settles over Egypt. Then, a sound. A distant wail. Then another. And another. Across Egypt, cries rise into the night. Every home, every palace, every prison, the firstborn are dying. Pharaoh's own son lies cold in his chambers. The king's scream shatters the silence. Pharaoh stumbles through the palace, his face twisted in anguish. His voice breaks. Go. Take your flocks, your herds, everything. Just go. The Hebrews gather quickly. Families pour into the streets. Livestock are herded. Belongings are loaded. After 430 years of slavery, they are free. They march out of Egypt, hundreds of thousands of them. The sun rises on their backs. Hope fills their hearts. But within days, that hope begins to crack. Pharaoh sits in his empty palace. Grief turns to rage. Rage turns to regret. What have I done? He mutters. Who will build my cities? Who will serve us? His officials murmur agreement. They have taken our wealth. They have taken our labor. Pharaoh stands. His eyes blaze. Prepare my chariots. We will bring them back. 600 chariots thunder out of Egypt, with Pharaoh leading them. The army moves fast, faster than the fleeing slaves. Moses hears the hoofbeats before he sees them. He turns. Dust rises on the horizon. The people scream. The Egyptians. They are coming. Ahead, the Red Sea. Behind, Pharaoh's army. They are trapped. Completely trapped. Children cry in their mother's arms. Old men collapse in despair. The joy of freedom evaporates like water in the desert sun. Some curse Moses. Others curse God. A few fall to their knees, praying desperately. The sound of hoofbeats grows louder, closer, more terrifying with each passing moment. Panic spreads like wildfire. Mothers clutch their children. Men shout in fear. Why did you bring us out here to die? They scream at Moses. Were there not enough graves in Egypt? We should have stayed as slaves. Moses lifts his hands. His voice cuts through the chaos. Do not be afraid. Stand still. Watch the salvation of the Lord. But inside, Moses is terrified. He cries out to God. What do I do? God answers. Why do you cry to me? Tell the people to move forward. Lift your staff over the sea. Moses walks to the water's edge. His hand shakes as he raises the staff. For a moment, nothing. Then, wind. A fierce, roaring wind from the east. It howls across the water. The sea begins to churn. Waves rise. Then, impossibly, they split. The water pulls back, forming walls on either side. A path of dry ground appears in the middle. The people stare, breathless. Go. Moses shouts. Move. Slowly, fearfully, the first families step onto the sea floor. It is dry, solid. They walk faster, then run. Thousands cross between towering walls of water. Behind them, Pharaoh's chariots charge into the sea. The walls tower impossibly high, shimmering blue-green in the sunlight. Fish swim inside the vertical ocean, trapped in place by divine power. Some Hebrews reach out tentatively, touching the water walls, cold but solid as glass. The miracle is undeniable. Even the skeptics are silenced. Step by terrifying step, an entire nation walks through what should have been their grave. The Egyptians race after them, wheels splashing through the seabed. The walls of water tower on both sides, trembling. Moses stands on the far shore, watching. The last Hebrew steps onto dry land. God speaks. Stretch out your hand. Moses obeys. The wind stops. The walls shudder. Then, collapse. Water crashes down with a deafening roar. Chariots are swallowed. Horses scream. Soldiers are swept away. In moments, it is over. The sea is calm again. But Pharaoh's army is gone. The Hebrews stand in stunned silence. Then someone begins to sing. Others join. Tambourines sound. Feet dance. They are free. Truly free. But as the celebration fades, reality sets in. They are standing in a barren wilderness. No food. No water. No shelter. Moses looks at the vast desert stretching ahead. Doubt creeps into his mind. How will we survive? God whispers, trust me. Days pass. The people's joy turns to grumbling. We're going to starve out here. Moses lifts his eyes to heaven. Lord, what now? Miriam, Moses' sister, leads the women in dancing. Her voice rises strong and clear. But even as they celebrate, Moses sees the horizon, endless sand, scorching heat, no visible provision. The magnitude of what lies ahead settles on his shoulders. 600,000 men, plus women and children. How does one feed over 2 million people in a wasteland? He doesn't know. But God does. The people's complaints grow louder. At least in Egypt we had food. You've brought us here to die. Moses feels the weight of leadership crushing him. Every day, new accusations. Every night, new fears. Then God provides. Bread from heaven, manna, appears each morning on the ground. Quail fill the camp at evening. Still, the people complain. We have no water. Moses strikes a rock with his staff. Water gushes out, enough for everyone. But their constant grumbling wears on him. Am I enough for this? He wonders. After 3 months, they reach the base of Mount Sinai. The mountain looms above them, dark and foreboding. God calls Moses. Come up. Moses climbs alone. The people watch from below as he disappears into a thick cloud. Thunder rolls. Lightning flashes. The mountain shakes. Smoke rises like a furnace. For 40 days and nights, Moses is gone. Up on the mountain, God speaks. He gives Moses the law, commandments carved in stone. Instructions for life, worship, and justice. Moses listens, overwhelmed. This is the covenant. This is the purpose. But down below, the people grow restless. The mountain blazes with supernatural fire. The ground trembles violently. The people set up boundaries, terrified to approach. God's voice booms like thunder, speaking the 10 commandments aloud while Moses ascends higher. He enters the cloud, leaving everything familiar behind. Alone in God's presence, Moses fasts completely. No bread, no water, sustained only by divine power. He writes, listens, learns. Meanwhile, below, days stretch into weeks. The people count. They worry. They wonder if Moses will ever return. Where is Moses? The people demand. He's been gone too long. We need a God we can see. Aaron hesitates. The pressure mounts. Finally, he gives in. Bring me your gold. They melt it down and shape it into a calf, a golden idol. This is your God, O Israel, they shout. This brought us out of Egypt. They dance. They feast. They worship the calf as if it were divine. On the mountain, God tells Moses, go down. Your people have corrupted themselves. Moses descends quickly, carrying 2 stone tablets, the 10 commandments, written by God's own hand. As he approaches the camp, he hears singing. Then he sees it, the golden calf, the dancing, the disgrace. Rage explodes inside him. He hurls the tablets to the ground. They shatter at the base of the mountain. He grabs the calf and throws it into the fire, grinding it to powder. Then he turns to Aaron. "What have you done?" Aaron stammers, ashamed. The people were restless. I didn't know what else to do." Moses stands in the center of the camp and shouts, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me." The scene is chaos, half-dressed revelers frozen mid-dance, wine spilled everywhere, the smell of roasted meat and incense mixing sickeningly. Aaron's sons stand nearby, guilt written across their faces. The golden calf gleams mockingly in the firelight. Moses' face radiates fury and heartbreak. After everything God has done, the plagues, the sea, the provision, they have already forgotten, already turned away. The tablets lie in pieces, sacred words shattered in the dust. The Levites step forward. Moses' voice is heavy. The Lord says, "Each man must take his sword and go through the camp. Execute judgment." It is a terrible, necessary command. 3,000 fall that day. Moses weeps. The cost of rebellion is high, but the holiness of God cannot be mocked. He climbs the mountain again, falling on his face before God. "Please, Lord, forgive them. If not, blot me out of your book instead." God answers, "I will have mercy on whom I have mercy." Moses pleads, "Show me your glory." God replies, "You cannot see my face and live, but I will pass by, and you will see my back." God places Moses in the cleft of a rock and covers him with his hand. Then the glory of the Lord passes by. Moses emerges transformed. His face glows so brightly the people cannot look at him. He must wear a veil. God gives new instructions. "Build me a sanctuary. Let me dwell among my people." The people give willingly gold, silver, fabric, wood. The tabernacle is constructed exactly as God commanded. The camp is somber after the judgment. Families mourn their dead. But through the grief, something shifts, a deeper reverence, a sober understanding of God's holiness. When Moses returns from the mountain glowing, they know something profound has happened. God has not abandoned them despite their betrayal. His mercy is greater than their failure. The call to build the tabernacle becomes an act of repentance, each contribution an offering of renewed devotion. When the tabernacle is complete, Moses stands back and watches. The priests are consecrated. The altar is prepared. Everything is ready. Then, the glory of the Lord descends. A cloud by day, fire by night. It fills the tabernacle, so thick and powerful that even Moses cannot enter. The people fall on their faces. This is holy. This is real. For the first time since Egypt, they understand. God is with them. Months pass. The cloud leads them through the wilderness. When it moves, they move. When it stays, they camp. But the journey is long. The desert is harsh. And the people's faith wavers again and again. Moses grows weary. His body aches. His heart is heavy. Leading the stubborn, fearful people is exhausting. One day, God speaks. "Gather 70 elders. I will take some of the spirit that is on you and place it on them. You cannot carry this alone." Moses obeys. The burden lightens. But still, the promised land feels impossibly far away. Then, one day, God delivers devastating news. "You will see the land, Moses, but you will not enter it." The tabernacle becomes the center of everything. All tribal camps arrange themselves around it in precise order. When the cloud lifts, trumpets sound and the entire nation mobilizes. When it settles, they pitch their tents again. This rhythm continues for months, then years. Moses ages visibly under the weight of leadership. His hair turns white. His shoulders stoop. But his eyes remain fierce with devotion. The people test him constantly, complaining, rebelling, demanding. Still, he intercedes for them faithfully. Moses' heart breaks. "Why, Lord?" God reminds him of a moment when Moses struck the rock twice in anger instead of speaking to it as commanded. In that moment, he failed to honor God before the people. The consequence stands. God says gently, "But do not fear. You will see it." Moses weeps. After everything, the plagues, the sea, the mountain, the years, he will not enter the promised land. But he does not argue. He accepts. Years pass. Moses grows old. His eyes remain sharp, but his body is tired. The people he has led are no longer slaves. They are a nation, shaped by the law, guided by God's presence. Finally, the day comes. Moses climbs Mount Nebo alone. Each step is slow, deliberate. His staff steadies him. At the summit, he looks out. Before him stretches the land of Canaan, green, fertile, bathed in golden light. Rivers glisten. Cities dot the hills. It is more beautiful than he imagined. Moses whispers, "Lord, it was all worth it." The wind is gentle. God's presence is near. Moses closes his eyes. And then, peacefully, he breathes his last. He remembers everything in those final moments: the burning bush, Pharaoh's throne room, the parted sea, the mountain ablaze with God's glory. Every struggle, every miracle, every prayer answered and unanswered. He thinks of Aaron, now gone, of Miriam, buried in the desert, of the generation that left Egypt, most now sleeping in wilderness graves. But their children, strong, faithful, ready, will inherit what he cannot. That is enough. More than enough. The people mourn for 30 days. They have lost their leader, their shepherd, their prophet. But Moses' legacy does not die with him. It lives in every commandment, every altar, every prayer. Joshua steps forward to lead. The promised land awaits. And though Moses is gone, the God who called him from the burning bush remains. God buried Moses himself, in a place no one knows. To this day, no grave has been found. Some say God wanted to ensure Moses would never be worshipped as a god. He was a man, flawed, fearful, faithful. The book of Deuteronomy closes with these words, "Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." Face to face. That is the legacy. Moses was drawn out of water to draw a people out of bondage. He was a murderer made into a deliverer, a stutterer made into a spokesman, a fugitive made into a friend of God. His story is not just history. It is hope. It whispers to every outcast, "You are seen." To every failure, "You can be redeemed." To every fearful heart, "God will be with you." The nation crosses the Jordan River under Joshua's leadership, carrying Moses' words in their hearts. They conquer cities, inherit land, establish homes. Generations later, they still tell stories of the man who spoke with God. Parents teach children the law he delivered. Priests read scrolls he wrote. His influence ripples through centuries. Kings rise and fall, but Moses' teachings endure. He never wore a crown, yet he shaped a kingdom. He never built a monument, yet his memory stands eternal. A voice, calm and wise, speaks as the scene fades. He was just a baby in a basket, floating toward death. But God had other plans.
Moses' story teaches us 6 eternal truths. Lesson 1. God can turn exile into preparation. 40 years in the desert weren't wasted. They shaped Moses for what was coming. Lesson 2. Purpose often begins with pain. The worst moments of Moses' life became the foundation for his greatest calling. Lesson 3. Obedience matters more than strength. Moses stuttered. He doubted. He wasn't a warrior. But he obeyed. Lesson 4. Delay is not denial. Moses waited 80 years before his mission began. God's timing is perfect, even when it feels late. Lesson 5. Freedom demands faith. The Red Sea didn't part because Moses had it figured out. It parted because he trusted and obeyed. Lesson 6. Every wilderness has a promise on the other side. Moses never entered Canaan. But his people did. Sometimes the victory isn't for you. It's for those who come after. The screen fades to black. Words appear. When God calls, the river that tried to drown you becomes the path that carries you. Your pain has purpose. Your exile is preparation. Your weakness is where God's strength shines brightest. Like Moses, you may not see the full victory in your lifetime. But trust this, every faithful step matters. Every obedient choice counts. God is writing a story bigger than you can imagine. And you, right now, are exactly where you need to be, for such a time as this. The same God who met Moses in the burning bush sees you today.